Hello, welcome to today's video lecture. This is going to be a continuation of video lecture 8, and we're going to be discussing the Data Discovery Center and how to access data there. Throughout this video, you're going to hear me refer to the Data Discovery Center as the DDC. One way to get to the DDC is through our 4 Weeks on Water website. If you go to Course Materials and Videos, there's an area called Data Related Links and Handouts, and if you look right here, it says Data Discovery Center. If you click View, it will take you right to the Data Discovery homepage. You could also do a quick Google search for Data Discovery Center, and you want to make sure that you choose the link that has DDC in the URL, and it'll take you to the homepage as well. Once you're on the website, you want to go to the link for Data, and when you click that, a drop-down menu will come down. You want to go to Data Query. You won't be using data list for this project. Once you're at the data query window, the variable window will be on your left. There's a map window in the center, and there's a current selection window on your right. You've probably already noticed the relationship between the variable window and the map. There are colored dots that represent a specific type of data under variables and corresponding dots on the map for the sites where that data is located. For example, the purple dots represent albedo data. You can see the different sites on the map where albedo data is collected, and these orangey yellow sites are representing the Lovotex data sites, and you can see where those are on the map. The DDC is a database for many different types of data collected, as you can see here. Since we're focusing on water, however, you need to stick to the data sets related to water for this project. These include the aquatic data set, the Lovotex dataset, and VRAP. Now Lovotex you're familiar with, but the aquatic dataset is collected by another network, and you can learn more about this project by going to Projects and Aquatic Data Description. If you click on Projects, go down to the aquatic one there, and it will describe what's going on there. If you go to the data description, then it'll describe the type of data that's available to you there. And VRAP stands for Volunteer River Assessment Program. You can see from the map that the majority of the data from these sites, let's move the map here, are actually down in the southeastern part of the state of New Hampshire. I'm going to show you a couple of specific ways on how to use the DDC for downloading water-related data. But you should take 15 to 20 minutes and just play around with this website to familiarize yourself with how it works, what type of data is available, and what capabilities the website has. And I want to show you really quickly, when you first come up to this portion of the DDC website, the map will look like this, but you can go up here into the upper right corner, and it'll tell you that it's on Street View. You can go to Google Satellite, so that when you zoom into an area, it shows you that Google satellite data instead. That might be helpful when you're scrolling through the map. I'm going to show you some basic data access scenarios for the Lovotex data available through the DDC. However, please feel free to explore the data available through the Aquatic Network and through VRAP to use for your research for this curriculum. The first thing you have to do to access data here on the DDC website is to tell the DDC software which data you are interested in, and you do that under the Variables window. Since we want to look at Lovotex data, I click on Lovotex, and it has a drop-down menu, and you can see here I have stage height and water-specific electrical conductivity selected. Once you've chosen the type of data you want represented, then you need to tell the website the location for which you want that data, and you do this on the map. And I'm going to zoom in up here where I live, and I'm going to select the Lovotex site, the lower Lovotex site on the Androscoggin River that I manage. And I'm doing that by clicking on the orange circle, and you can see that a green check mark comes into it. And you might have noticed that as I was clicking things, this current selection window over here was updating. You can see if I unclick that, it tells me that I only have 91,414 values to look at, and if I click it, now all of a sudden I have over 200,000. I also want to show you that as you hover over a particular data site, you can see down here on the bottom part of the map, that when I hover, it actually describes which data site I'm looking at. I can do the same for this albedo site up here. This is telling me, oh, there's 2 sites, so I'd have to zoom in. Whoop. This is the Androscoggin River upper site behind the White Mountains Community College, and this is the albedo station named CS14. Once you've chosen the data you want to look at for a particular site, you need to go to Visualize and take some time to scroll through the data, see if there's any data missing and what it looks like in general. Once you go to the data visualization page, you'll notice that up at the top you can look at the data by day, by month, year, or the full data set that's available for those variables. Here on the left-hand side, it tells you that you have to select your variables. You can actually make that column a little bit bigger so you can see which is which. And I'm going to show you at first just one of the variables. If I click on that, it shows on the graph here on the right, that data shows up, and you can see down below the graph that it actually tells me which color represents which variable. If I click both, you can see that it's got green for the specific conductance and blue for the stage. But let's just start by looking at water-specific electrical conductance. I can scan through the dates. Oh, and actually I'm going to go to month, since by day is a little bit, it will take us forever. We can see that in 2013 the data was starting to be collected in May. And we can scroll through in June. There's a gap there in June that continues into July. And I think there's another gap, yep, in November. So that would be something you would want to do would be to check to see where the gaps are. I want to show you guys that if you have 2 different variables selected, sometimes because it has the same scale on the vertical axis for both variables, a lot of what you might see for changes in one variable gets muted because the scale is too large. So here's our specific electrical conductance in green on the bottom. Here's our stage in centimeters in blue on the top. And you can see that this green line, there's not really a whole lot going on there. We'll go the other way. It's staying really, really flat. So that's visually, it's not telling us very much about that data. Whereas if I take the stage off, we can see much more specifically what's going on with that data. This visualization tool will help you to get familiar with the data that is available at different sites, and it can help you when you're forming your research question. Now let's look at how you download this data. You do this by starting the same way you did to visualize the data. You have to tell the website what data you're looking for, so I'm going to go to Lovotex. And I still have my stage height and conductivity selected, and for which locations. If we zoom in here, you can see that Androscoggin lower site is still checked. Then, instead of clicking Visualize, you click Download. And when you click the download, the web page will prompt you for an email address. You must type in an address that the DDC will send the data link to. I'm going to type in my work address and click Download. And once you've done this, the request will be sent to the DDC, and you will get this initial email telling you that the request has been received and is being processed. And you can see there's a little summary here. And there's also a request link. You can click on that, and it will just tell you the status of your request. Sometimes it takes a couple of days for the DDC to send your file back to you. But you'll get an email that says your request has been processed, and if you open it, it will look something like this, and it will provide you with a link. And when you click on the link, it should give you a pop-up to download a zip file. So I'm going to press OK. Once it's downloaded, then you go to your downloads area, and you can click on the zip file, and it should open it, and it has created a folder called Lovotex for me. So I'm going to open that up. And what I'm going to go for is the one that has the 3-digit code for that particular location. So I'm going to click on the ARD. Once your file opens in Excel, you want to take a little bit of time to get familiar with what you're looking at. So you want to check out your column headings. Here I have date, time. This is for specific conductivity, and that unit is microsiemens per centimeter. And this is stage, also in just centimeters. And if we scroll down through the data, can just see that we're going through the days. This data is collected every few minutes, remember, so there's a lot of data points. And towards the end, we get some negative 9999s in our stage column. And that means that for that particular location, for whatever reason, the stage data was not collected during that time period. I can scroll all the way down and see that there's 56,860 data points in this particular data set. And remember, the difference between big data and small data, and Excel only does well with small data. This particular data file is bordering on the big data end of things. However, we probably could do a simple graph of this data, which I will be showing you how to do in an upcoming video lecture. This concludes this video lecture on downloading data from the Data Discovery Center.